Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Papo de Teacher, to this live Papo de Teacher. I'm teacher Fabi Montanari, and I'm here to help you improve your communication skills in English, especially to speak English without barriers. So stay with me tonight. I'd like to hear. I'd like to know if you can hear me, if everything's okay. And today we're going to talk about key elements for your learning progress. Okay, progress, because what we all want is to move forward. You have been studying English and you really want to know how you can communicate. So far, you have studied a lot. Yes? Am I right? You have studied English, and now I have something here in my eyes. You have studied English, but you need to speak English now. No more studies or forever studies, but you need to speak. Can you hear me? Is it okay for you? Yeah? And I have something here in my eyes. I think it's gone. Okay. So, what are the key elements for your progress in your studies? This topic, I decided to bring this topic tonight to have this talk with you because I feel that from all this experience, many people have studied English a lot. Yeah, I know you have studied. 1 second, people on Instagram. I'm having pause because of internet connection. I'm going to change my network here. Right, 1 second. I'm back. I'm back. Okay, I'm back now. Is it okay now, people? Very good. So, key elements. What is one of the most common things that I have when I have a new student or I'm interviewing a new student, welcoming a new student to the programs we have, is that one thing in common is that all of them have studied English somehow. None of them come here and said, "Oh, it's my first time studying English." So when you have this, you see, okay, I have studied English because what do we have in mindset? I study English and then I will speak English. I study and then I speak. I study and then I speak. This is somehow, I think the origin of this comes from the moment that we studied at school. We study and then we have a test and then we get approved. Or we fail, we study a little bit more and then we get approved and then we move on. But when we're talking about speaking English effectively and communicating in English for all the purpose you have, especially for business purpose, you see that you have studied a lot, but when you want to speak, it doesn't come. And what the elements for this are three, and I'm going to explain each one of them. The first one is the intention. I told this to my students the other day and said, "Teacher, I never thought about that." This is about having the intention. And then I say, Hobson, put here, you're right. I've been studying English for almost 4 years. And that's it. So when we study and say, okay, after a few months or after 1 year, after 2 years, after 4 years, I suppose I'll be speaking English, yes? And maybe this is not happening the way you wanted. So when I say having the intention, ter a intenção, and then you come to me and say, Fabi, you mean that I don't have the intention? I said, no, it's not that. You have all the intention and the best intention to speak English. But if your studies are not really aligned to what you need now, your progress will be slow. Imagine, let me make it more clear. Imagine you have classes, you have a regular English course, you've been taking a regular English course, maybe online, maybe presential, in person English course, like traditional English schools. You go to the school once or twice per week. And then you have, tonight you have classes about international food. But this week you have a very challenging presentation or negotiation you need to deal with, you need to have in your company. But tonight you have your English class, but you're studying international food. Unless you are international chef, uh, like you are a cook. But imagine you work with logistics and you have like international food, the topic of your class tonight, and you are not really engaged to what you need for your uh, meetings this week. So this is the intention. Are your classes aligned to the intention you have, your most urgent intention? If not, I won't say that they are not helpful, but I will say that they are not really aligned to what you need, and it's going to take longer for you to be where you want to. You see? So this intention is important to have in your study plan. Okay. Second point here is the strategy. We need a strategy to do that. How, teacher? How can I have that? And a strategy is not, okay, I'm going to start a new English course and I'm going to have 2 classes per week and I'm going to study, I'm going to do the homework. Okay, I have classes on Mondays and Wednesdays and I'm going to study. I'm going to listen to some podcasts in English while I'm going to school, while I'm driving to work in the morning. And during my weekends, I'm going to watch the movies with English subtitles. Okay, that's important, but not only. Okay, strategy is, again, the intention and your target. For the intention you have and the target in how much time you need to be fluent. I'm not saying that you can go from 0 to fluency in 6 months. I really don't believe in these promises. I wish it was possible. For some people, maybe it will. For most common people, it won't be. Okay. Or you can be in 6 months somehow fluent, better than you are now. But from 0 to fluency, total fluency in 6 months, I don't believe that. Okay. But you can be better in 6 months from now. And then when you have a strategy, some students come to me and say, Fabi, in 6 months, I'll have a challenge. I will have to go to a training or to an event abroad. So my English will be better than today, needs to be better than it is now. And then we need to align expectations. And after that, you need to have like the direction, the right direction. So the intention, the strategy, and the direction towards your goal. Because I've been teaching for long enough to see that how English methods have changed. Okay. And some people say, teacher, I don't have 5 years to study English. I don't have 10 years to study English. I just need to go fast. But okay, think with me. If you need to go fast, imagine you want to, if you are in São Paulo, I'm here in São Paulo area, okay? If you want to go from São Paulo to Santos, there is one road. If you want to go from São Paulo to Itu, there is another road. If you want to go to Paraná, another road. To Minas, another road. So we have many roads around São Paulo area, okay? So where's my intention? I have the intention to go to Santos. So I need a strategy. Am I going by bus? Am I going by car? Am I going by bike? Some people go by bike. Uh, so you have the strategy. So you have the intention where you want to go. Like uh, uh, you have the intention to travel to Santos, and then you have the strategy. How am I going to Santos? By car. Okay. Uh, and then the third point, intention, strategy, and direction. Okay, so I need to get the right road. Because if I want to go to Santos and I get the road, for example, if I have Castelo Branco, I'm not going to Santos. It doesn't matter how fast I go. I can go really fast. I can have the best car and drive really fast, but I won't be in Santos in 1 hour from now if I'm taking the wrong road. You see, it might sound silly, but this is what I see happening all the time with your English plans, with your English studies. Many people are getting the wrong road without knowing that. It's difficult for you to identify that if you don't really know. You can't see. It's more difficult to see this. And then you have the strategy needs to focus on all the skills you have. So we need to read in English, we need to listen in English, we need to speak in English, and we need to write in English for perfect fluency, proficiency. Do you know, by the way, do you know that um, we have the international standard of levels? Okay, an international standard is A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So when people ask you, "Oh, what's your level of English?" Some people say, I'm a B1. I need to be a B1 in 6 months. I'm an A2. I'm an A1. I'm C1, C2. So A1 and A2 are basic levels. So you have basic skills in writing, speaking, listening, and listening. Well, the first skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And reading, sorry. So you have your basics. You have basic proficiency on that. When you are B1, B2, you are an independent speaker. It means that you can travel, you can work with that. Maybe you cannot go deeper, but for basic routines, for your work, it's okay for you. And proficient levels, C1 and C2, you are really able to understand like jokes in English, cultural nuances. You are able to understand like minor details in the communication. So this is the focus. And when I say fluency, when I think of fluency, I'm thinking of this proficient levels. But it doesn't mean that long before you can be speaking English with a lot of confidence and correctly. If you're B1, B2, it's more than enough. For example, if your purpose now is to work with that teacher, I have an American boss, I'm going to participate in some meetings, or I have to be able to talk to him. What can I do? A B1 to B2 level, really effective level, is okay. And now answering Robson's question here, he told me here on YouTube chat, I'm improving all my English skills, but speaking, it's harder. Yeah. Who thinks speaking is more difficult than, for example, writing and reading? Is he the only person who thinks that speaking is more difficult, or do you also think it's difficult as well? Speaking, yes, speaking is a little bit more difficult. It's not that it's more difficult, it takes a little bit longer for you to be able really to speak, not to repeat, but to speak. Of course, we start with repetition, but for you to really communicate, you cannot be repeating things. You need to be able to speak. And how do you do that? If you understand that the skills and the learning process is like an assembly line, Assembly, do you understand assembly line? Can I speak like that? Assembly line, linha de produção. I usually give this example. If some of you, or if you have been following me here for a while, you know that I have worked for a multinational company, a car maker. And I remember I worked in logistics area, but I remember that I loved to go to the assembly line. I loved to visit the assembly line. Eu adorava visitar a linha de produção da empresa. E vou explicar agora em português, um parênteses aqui, justamente para todo mundo entender. Até porque muita gente entrou aqui agora, então presta atenção no que eu vou explicar. Por que speaking pode parecer mais difícil? E o speaking, my speaking doesn't follow my thoughts. O speaking não segue os pensamentos, ele acaba ficando um pouco mais lento. É normal isso, tá, Robson? Just keep going if you have you already have the intention, but if you have the right strategy, and you have the correct direction, you're going to be there. But speaking, it will take a little bit longer for it to happen in an independent way. Por que o speaking é uma das últimas habilidades para se tornar, para a gente se tornar independente? A gente precisa entender que tem vários aspectos que influenciam o nosso speaking e, consequentemente, o nosso listening, tá? Mas se você entender como uma linha de produção, eu estava falando que eu adorava visitar, quando eu trabalhava na empresa, eu adorava visitar a linha de produção da empresa, não trabalhava ali, mas era gostoso de ver, é um processo muito interessante, né? Processos produtivos é algo muito interessante de se ver. E ali naquele momento, o que acontece numa linha de produção? Eu estou dando exemplo de um carro, mas pode ser de qualquer outra coisa. Vão entrar numa ponta, no começo da linha, vão entrar, né? A gente vai ter o input das peças que vão ser necessárias, e ao final da linha a gente tem o output, que é o carro pronto. Então, vem peças, partes de peças, né? Conjuntos de peças, que vão ser acoplados ao longo do processo, né? Da linha de produção, e ao final a gente vai ter um carro bonito, lindo lá, pronto para ser usado. Vamos entender que o speaking é a parte final do processo de produção, é o seu último nível de progresso. Por quê? Ele exige um tempo de reação, assim, a gente tem um tempo de reação menor. Quando a gente está falando, por exemplo, de reading, não, eu consigo ler inglês, mas eu não consigo falar. É uma queixa muito comum que eu ouço dos meus alunos. Por que você consegue ler e não consegue falar? Porque o ler você tem um tempo de reação maior. Ler, você consegue, às vezes, reconhecer a palavra que está ali, que está sendo usada, mesmo que você não saiba falar aquela palavra como ela deve ser pronunciada. Mas você leu ali, você leu no seu tempo, às vezes você vai buscar no dicionário, ok, você consegue decodificar a mensagem. Falar um outro idioma nada mais é do que ser capaz de decodificar mensagens nesse outro idioma. A gente tem na nossa língua materna, mas a gente também tem inglês, certo? Então, por exemplo, se eu ficar... Quando eu falo de ter estratégia, às vezes a pessoa acha que estratégia é só ligar a televisão no Netflix e colocar legenda em inglês e ficar ouvindo em inglês, isso é uma estratégia. Se você não tiver a intenção de aprender algo com aquilo, você vai gastar muito tempo. Você até aprende alguma coisa, mas é muita energia. É como você tentar encher um balde que está com furo. Você vai ter que colocar muito mais água, porque você vai perder muita coisa ali. O balde furado vai estar dando vazão. Então, o que acontece é justamente isso. O processo de você aprender, de você falar, ele tem um tempo de reação menor. Por isso que não acompanha o pensamento. A gente pensa rápido. Mas às vezes a gente não está conseguindo falar tudo. Seja porque todos os vocabulários ainda não foram assentados, a gente não tem esse vocabulário pronto para ser usado ativamente. E daqui a pouco eu vou entrar na parte de vocabulário ativo. Vou explicar uma coisa para vocês. De vocabulário... deixa eu até marcar aqui para não esquecer. Vocabulário ativo e vocabulário passivo. Para a gente falar de verdade, eu preciso ter vocabulário ativo. O que é vocabulário ativo? Aquilo que eu tenho na ponta da língua para falar. O passivo é aquele que... eu já vi essa palavra, eu sei reconhecer. Mas ativo significa que você conhece a palavra, que você consegue usá-la no contexto correto, e você sabe a pronúncia correta dessa palavra. Porque a pronúncia é tão importante quanto você saber o significado dela. Porque vamos pegar uma palavra como, por exemplo, chocolate. Vamos dar esse exemplo. Eu gosto de usar esse exemplo, não só porque eu gosto de chocolate, mas porque ela é uma palavra que, tanto em português quanto em inglês, ela é falada da mesma maneira. Ela é escrita da mesma maneira. Só que em português eu falo chocolate. Em português eu falo chocolate. 4 syllables. In English, I say chocolate. chocolate, two syllables. So if I want to, um, speak actively, I need to have this vocabulary in an active way. But if I have the word for me, but I still say chocolate, if I listen to chocolate, my reaction will take longer. Or maybe I won't even recognize the word. So this is the problem. You see? So it's really important that you understand the context you have and understand that speaking is the output of the production process. The inputs, what are the inputs in this assembly line that I was referring to? The inputs are the listening and the reading. You only learn by listening and reading. So you have these inputs. And then you process like a mix. And then the output is the writing and speaking. You see? And another thing that he put here, I'm still at word translating level and it makes me speak slower than I would like to do. This is a problem, Robson. Translating, I have another class that I said about this. Translating is something really bad. Because some people say, it's okay, we learn by translating. A few words isolatedly, okay. But when we start our learning process by translating, it will take longer for us to really be productive in this other language. Exactly because of that, and you're feeling it for real, how much it makes you slower. Good news is that you can change this anytime. But you need the right techniques to read the right direction, because translating is really, I don't like it at all. Okay? Because when you are translating, you're probably trying to create sentences. For example, like very silly example. Eu preciso tomar água. I had a student. It was challenging for her to change this. But imagine in this example, eu preciso tomar água. I need tomar água, drink water. I need drink water. Okay, I need drink water. And it's wrong. I need to drink water, okay? I need to drink water. So you see the process that your mind, like all the journey your mind needs to do before getting to the sentence you want to say. So the speaking process will take longer the more you try to translate. Translating, in my method, at least of what I have worked my whole life, is not an option. In fact, translating is the last option for the student. You see? But some methods, they teach translating at first. And there is a big difference in this. This is what we call in the different English learning methods. We have something called behaviorism, and we have a communicative approach. I have always worked with communicative approach. Behaviorism, it became famous and was like spread around the world after the Second World War, as far as I know. Okay, I'm not like a big specialist on this, but as far as I have participated in teacher trainings to understand the main differences between some franchising schools and others. So I had a lecture like that saying this. So behaviorism is what makes you repeat faster. So most of these big schools that we see, every city has one school, they follow this behaviorism line. And if you consider like two competitors running, okay, behaviorism is fast, is better for a sprint. And communicative approach is better for a marathon. You understand what I meant? Could you really understand? Could you really get it? I love speaking English, but sometimes I'm really curious if you can understand what I'm bringing here to you. So I'm going to speak Portuguese again. Eu vi que o Lucas colocou teacher in English. Eu gosto disso de falar em inglês, mas eu não tenho certeza. Às vezes eu não tenho certeza se tá todo. Ainda mais porque eu não tô vendo a cara de vocês. Quando o aluno tá cara a cara comigo, eu consigo perceber pela cara do aluno se ele pegou a mensagem ou se ele não pegou. Como nesse momento eu preciso que vocês entendam algumas coisas de conceito, até para vocês analisarem o que vocês vêm fazendo. Quando eu falo de essas duas linhas de trabalho, a grande maioria das escolas de franquias adotaram. Eu não sou especialista nisso, tá? Mas já participei de treinamentos de professores, explicando qual que é a diferença de metodologia dentro dessas principais redes de franquias que a gente tem no Brasil. E tem a linha que segue o behaviorism, que é o comportamentalismo, e ela se popularizou principalmente após a Segunda Guerra, ou durante a guerra, porque era quando os soldados precisavam invadir território inimigo, e aí eles decoravam algumas palavras e faziam algumas trocas. Então, I need to drink water, I need to drink wine, I need to drink juice. Então, I have to. Então, você vai trabalhando por associações e trocando pedaços de frases. O aluno sai dessas aulas de básico com uma sensação de vitória. Putz, eu saí da aula já falando 50 frases em uma semana. E é natural essa sensação de vitória, de pequenas vitórias, deve ser comemorado mesmo. E o aluno continua avançando nisso. Só que, eu falo behaviorism, essas metodologias que seguem essa linha, que trabalham muito com repetição e tradução, eu falo que eles parecem bons para uma corrida de 100 metros rasos. Então, assim, uma corrida rápida, isso daí, assim, se fosse comparar dois corredores, um que vai o behaviorism e o outro que segue o communicative approach, o de behaviorism corre os 100 metros mais rápido. A partida ali ela é mais rápida. Então, a sensação de vitória é boa. O outro, communicative approach, pode sair mais lento. Não é que vai sair, pode sair de acordo com a organização do plano de estudos. E então, só que ele chega mais longe, porque ele vai mais profundo, ele vai nas habilidades de maneira mais aprofundada. Que é justamente communicative approach, abordagem comunicativa. E é o que eu falo. Já estou trabalhando, né? Já trabalho como teacher há 27, 28 anos esse ano completo. Peguei várias fases aí de ondas de ensino de inglês ao longo desses anos. E o communicative approach, ele é uma abordagem muito boa. E o que eu fiz hoje? Porque assim, quando você pega... Por que ele pode ser boa? Se você pegar pelo método tradicional das escolas, o communicative approach ele vai funcionar, foi o método... Então, né, sou prova viva de que eu aprendi a falar inglês antes de ir para o exterior, não precisei ir para o exterior para aprender a falar inglês, só que ele pode ser mais demorado. Você vai ter lá aula 1, countries and nationalities, verb to be, and so on. Então, essa sensação de falar, às vezes, pode ser mais lenta para um aluno que começa ali no método tradicional. O que eu fiz hoje, né? Assim, já desses anos, nos últimos 4 anos principalmente, reorganizei isso porque eu identifiquei entre os meus alunos, entre quem me procura, que já vem de processos, já veio estudando inglês e está com alguns buracos. Então, o que a gente faz? A gente identifica onde estão esses buracos e dentro do Communicative Approach a gente reorganiza isso para que seja mais acelerado o processo. Não é nenhum atalho, mas é só uma reorganização que faz com que o resultado chegue mais rápido. That's it. Understand? Now back to English. Do you have any questions so far? If you had a test right now, after this, if I sent you a test, would you be able to answer everything that I said so far? So what are the key elements for your progress? Let's talk about it again. We need to have the intention, And then we need to have a strategy and the direction. If I'm in São Paulo and I want to go to Santos, I have to understand that I need to take the right road with the right vehicle. If you say, it doesn't matter the road, it doesn't matter. If I'm in São Paulo and I want to go to Santos and I take Castelo Branco, I'm going to the countryside. I'm going in the opposite way. So you see, we need to have this and understand that speaking will be probably the last point that you're really going to be independent. Oh, teacher, but I'm going to, in your method, I'm going to speak only in the last class. No, you are going to speak from day one. When you're my student, you're going to speak English from day one. But depending on the level you are going to have some limitations, some boundaries for your communication. It's going to be more limited. And after some while, after some practice, you are going to become independent until you become fully independent in your communication. This is your progress. So when you think, I'm tired of speaking English, it's August. We are in August 2024, and I still can't speak English the way I wanted. When do you really want to become independent? You need to start from now with the intention, strategy, and direction. I'm sure that you will be a lot better before Christmas. Until Christmas, we have 4, 8, 12, around 15 weeks. Yes, 15, 16 weeks until Christmas. I'm sure. And it's no miracle, okay? This is not the miracle department. I always tell Lisa, teacher, I have a very important job interview next week. I usually tell the students, this is not the miracle department. Okay? This is not the miracle department. If you're looking for someone to help you with your intention, strategy, study plan, direction, count on me. If you're looking for some miracle, okay, I'm afraid I won't be able to help you. I cannot do miracles yet. I'm trying hard, but not yet. But this is what you have to focus. In 16 weeks, what is possible to do? We need to align expectations. Lucas asks here, in 1 month, how much can I improve my speaking? It depends how often, because 1 month, it means 30 days, 24 hours a day. In this 1 month, how willing are you to dedicate to your English improvement? You see, because in 1 month, you can improve a lot. Studying once a week, studying twice a week, studying every day. You see, when I talk about AWI is the method I have. AWI stands for 8-week immersion. It's an immersion with daily classes for 8 weeks. You see, and then you need to understand that 8 hours. You're going to have 20 minutes classes per day, but with the extra practice, it's going to take around 40 minutes to 1 hour per day, plus other studies that I usually recommend. And then in this case, if you get involved by English, you are going to be thinking in English according to the level you are. You see? So there is we cannot underestimate what we can do with the right direction, strategy, and intention. And this is something that I learned with I participated in a training, and sometimes we underestimate, like, it's only 5 minutes, I'm not going to study English now, it's only 5 minutes. And one day an Australian person, she told me, and we were, maybe until that moment I had never thought about that, and after that I always think about that. This person said, some people think about 5 minutes, it's not okay, it's not a problem. But if you take 5 minutes in 20 days, she was a tour guide. I was participating in an excursion abroad, and I was the only Brazilian. My husband and me, we were the only Brazilians, and she was Australian, and all the other participants on the tour were Australians, Americans, and Canadians. And she said, "People, we every morning we needed to leave early. It was a tour around Europe, and if she said, I'm not going to wait 5 minutes for anybody. Imagine if the excursion would last 20 days, 5 days, and considering all these stops. Okay, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes on the break, on the stop on the road, 5 minutes after lunch. So if she said, if I wait for you, I have to wait for the group for only 5 minutes for 20 days, it's 5 times 20, 100 minutes. No, yes, 100 minutes. It's more than 1 hour in the end, almost 2 hours wasted. So if you think about that, 5 minutes per day in 20 days, you are going to be studying 2 hours. If you said 1 hour in 20 days, it's going to be 20 hours. So you have to consider that if this is the best you can do. No, I'm going to wait until next year. No. AWI is only 8 weeks. We have 16 weeks until Christmas. And if it's only pronunciation, for example, another course that you're going to have, stay tuned. You are going to see soon. The classes are being edited, but we are going to have a specific course for techniques for you to improve your speaking, considering your pronunciation. And when you have these strategies, you are going to move faster. Okay? Do you have any further questions? I said a lot today for 40 minutes almost. Yes, 36 minutes I've been talking. And last month I just dedicated to listening. In October I'll have a trip and need to go by myself. Lucas, I'm going to ask you, how much can you understand if you watch a movie in English? How much can you understand from that without subtitles? If you have a trip on your own, you're going to have to talk to people a lot. How much can you understand people without reading the captions? Because when we are reading the captions, everything gets easier. This is another point. When we are reading the captions, we are not we're really listening to English. We are reading English. No, teacher, I'm listening. No, you're reading first. Your comprehension comes from your reading. And this is why, watching a movie with subtitles, I can understand it because you're not listening. You're reading English. So, Lucas, if you have just been practicing listening, I don't remember your yeses for what. I don't really remember. I started listening to improve this. Okay, if you're feeling confident about this, it's okay. In this course that I said that I'm going to release soon, you are going to be able to understand how words get together, and how we Brazilians get impacted by English speaking. Because, for example, when we say chocolate instead of chocolate, this is what you have to say: chocolate, chocolate. I love chocolate. What is commonly pronounced by Brazilians? I love chocolate. I love chocolate. It's not I love chocolate. I love chocolate. I love chocolate. 6 syllables. I love chocolate. 4 syllables. Why is that important? Because you need to understand that. If you're saying I love chocolate, you are not speaking English. Really, for real. You're speaking Portuguese. With words in English. So This is the point, okay, Lucas? I'm finishing to answer your questions. I don't know if it was clear for you, but this is the point. Max asks here, teacher, I study 2 hours a day, but I need to improve. What's your tip? What do you need to improve? The number of hours you're studying. You need to improve your speaking. You need to improve your listening. Do you need to improve your reading, writing? What do you need to improve? Or you need to improve everything? And where exactly are you now? Do you have a map? Like, do you know exactly where you are? From everything you need to learn, do you understand what you know and what you don't know? Can you see that? So if you can see that, it's easier for you to, for example, think of a compass. Pensa numa bússola que está apontando para o caminho certo. O que precisa ser feito, what do I need to improve? For example, only studying is not enough. This comes from the example I said. If I'm in São Paulo and I want to go to Santos, the easiest way is to take Anchieta Imigrantes Road. If I'm just studying, okay, I'm going to drive. Imagine I'm in São Paulo and I'm going to drive for 5 hours to be in Santos. São Paulo to Santos is 1 hour and a half. But if you take 5 hours going through Castelo Branco, for example, you're going the opposite way. You're not going to Santos. You're going to drive for 5-10 hours and you're not going to be in Santos. So to improve, you need where you are and where you want to go in exactly the conditions of the road you have so far. Not so easy to say that. Yes, maybe this is not the answer you were expecting me to give to you, but this is important to consider. Like an easy tip to share for not to say that I didn't answer anything. Try to get surrounded by everything in English. Use your apps in English, for example. Use your Netflix in English. Use your computer in English, your mobile in English. Your Waze needs to talk to you in English. Your Siri, your Alexa, or wherever you need to have them speaking. I use iPhone. My Siri only speaks English. And it's fun because when you have kids and they want, like, sometimes we play asking questions to Siri. And then they have to, I tell them sometimes in Portuguese, said, pergunta para Siri como vai estar o tempo amanhã. And then I let them create the sentence, the right question, so that Siri answers to them. And this is like fun. And you are bringing English to your life. Not only you are going to English, you are bringing English to your life, to your everyday life. So this is nice. If you are making like a supermarket list, try to make the list in English. The items you need to buy. If you are, for example, we are coming to the end of the day. If you're going, imagine if nobody that lives with you speaks English. Talk to yourself, to the voices inside your head. If you had to tell something that happened in your life today, anything that you are going to talk to people now, how much can you talk about this in English? Imagine something fun happened to you. And how can you tell them this story, even if it's in your head? If you're making plans for tomorrow, tomorrow I have to go to the dentist, I have to go to the supermarket, I have to finish the report for my interview, whatever you think of what you have to do, think of this in English as well. Okay, any more questions? No? So, people, we are coming to the end of this talk today. I really liked talking to you, and I hope to see you next Monday, 6:30 p.m. Every day on Stories, we have, I share something curious. So if you want, if you have any further questions, you can reach me or on the comments of this video or on Stories on DM, okay? And that's it. I wish you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.